Hi, my remote friends. Miss Fisher here. I am going to start reading you a chapter book today. This is one of my favorite books. Some of you may have heard of it, others of you may not. But this is about a gorilla, and it's an awesome book. But it is called The One and Only Ivan, and it is by Katherine Applegate. You are going to learn about Ivan and his little friend here. So there is a second book also, but I don't have that one. I do have this one, and we are going to read through this. And the cover says, this is what the cover says. Ivan is an easygoing gorilla living in a shopping mall. He has grown accustomed to humans watching him through the glass walls of his domain. He rarely misses his life in the jungle. In fact, he hardly ever thinks about it at all. Instead, Ivan thinks about TV shows he's seen, his friends Stella and Bob, and painting. Then he meets Ruby, a baby elephant taken from her family, and she makes Ivan see their home and his own art through new eyes. When Ruby arrives, change comes with her, and it's up to Ivan to make it a change for the better. So this is actually based on a true story. There was an actual Ivan, and he did live in a shopping mall. And that is something that maybe we can talk about sometime. He's kind of got a fascinating story, and he was a very social gorilla. I looked up the other day a documentary on him, and he did some pretty cool things in his life that was not typical for most gorillas, and that was because he was raised by humans. So I personally wouldn't want a gorilla as a pet, but I think maybe that, somebody did, and he got too big for them. So we will talk about his story later on, maybe when we're done with the book, but this is a great book about the one and only Ivan. I have to get to it. Okay, so there are a few things in this that they've put in the glossary of this book about what they mean. So when they say chest beat, it's repeated slapping of the chest with one or both hands in order to generate a loud sound, sometimes used by gorillas as a threat display to intimidate an opponent. So domain. Can anybody tell me what domain means? Territory. Like they live in that and in that area, and that's their territory and their domain that they live in. The grunt. Snorting, pig-like noises made by gorilla parents to express annoyance. So, if you were a gorilla and your parents were upset with you, they would grunt when they were upset because they were expressing annoyance. So that's what grunt means, the grunt, that's what that means. So meeball, dried excrement thrown at observers. Apparently he throws something at them. 9,855 days, and it says example. While gorillas in the wild typically gauge the passing of time based on seasons or food availability, Ivan has adopted a tally of days. 9,855 is equal to 27 years. That's a long time, isn't it? Knot tag. Stuffed toy gorilla. Silverback. Also, less frequently, gray boss.
Mrs. Myers, could you come to the office, please?
Can anyone tell me if they know what a silverback is? Okay, you'll have to get back to me on that. An adult male over 12 years old with an area of silver hair on his back. The silverback is a figure of authority responsible for protecting his family. So that's a type of gorilla. Slimy chimp. So it's a slang, or it's offensive, and it means a human refers to sweat on hairless skin. I'm assuming, we'll figure this out later, that this is Ivan and the words that he uses to explain things. So vining is casual play, a reference to vine swinging. So when they talk about that, that's what they mean. So I just kind of wanted to go over some of those with you because they'll use these in here, and that way you don't wonder what they are. And it is part of the book. So if anybody has a copy of this, they can read along with us. You can follow along as I read. But I'm going to start. So you have a picture of Ivan here. Okay. And it says, "Hello, I am Ivan. I am a gorilla. It's not as easy as it looks. People call me the freeway gorilla, the ape at Exit 8, the all one and only Ivan, mighty silverback." See, there's that silverback word. So we know that a silverback is a gorilla with a silver stripe down its back. The names are mine, but they're not me. I am Ivan. Just Ivan, only Ivan. Humans waste words. They toss them like banana peels and leave them to rot. Everyone knows the peels are the best part. I suppose you think gorillas can't understand you. Of course, you also probably think we can't walk upright. Try knuckle walking for an hour. You tell me, which way is more fun? I've learned to understand human words over the years, but understanding human speech is not the same as understanding humans. Humans speak too much. They chatter like chimps, crowding the world with their noise, even when they have nothing to say. It took me some time to recognize all those human sounds, to weave words into things, but I was patient. Patient is a useful way to be when you're an ape. Gorillas are as patient as stones. Humans, not so much. How I look. I used to be a wild gorilla, and I still look the part. I have a gorilla shy gaze, a gorilla sly smile. I wear a snowy saddle of fur, the uniform of a silverback. When the sun warms my back, I cast a gorilla's majestic shadow. In my size, humans see a test of themselves. They hear fighting words on the wind, when all I'm thinking is how the late day sun reminds me of a ripe nectarine. I'm mightier than any human, 400 pounds of pure power. That's pretty big, isn't it? It's 400 pounds. My body looks made for battle. My arms outstretched span taller than the tallest human. So when his hands are outstretched like this, he's taller than a human. That's bigger than a human. My family tree spreads wide as well. I am a great ape, and you are a great ape. And so are chimpanzees and orangutans and bonobos, all of us distant and distrustful cousins. I know this is troubling. I too find it hard to believe there is a connection across time and space, linking me to a race of ill-mannered clowns. Chimps, there's no excuse for them. The Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I live in a human habitat called the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. We're conveniently located off I-95. with shows at 2, 4, and 7, 365 days a year. Mac says that when he answers the trilling telephone, Mac works here at the mall. He's the boss. I work here too. I am the gorilla. At the Big Top Mall, a creaky music carousel spins all day, and monkeys and parrots live amid the merchants. In the middle of the mall is a ring with benches where humans can sit on their rumps while they eat soft pretzels. The floor is covered with sawdust made of dead trees. My domain is at one end of the ring. I live here because I am too much gorilla and not enough human. Stella's domain is next to mine. Stella is an elephant. She and Bob, who is a dog, are my dearest friends. At present, I do not have any gorilla friends. So, how do you think it would feel if you didn't have any human friends? That's a question you could ask yourself, and you could maybe relate to Ivan. My domain is made of thick glass and rusty metal and rough cement. So when he's saying domain, he's kind of talking about his home, correct? Okay. So think about when he says domain, that's his home, and that's where he lives. So he's explaining to you where he lives. Stella's domain is made of metal bars. The sun bear's domain is wood. The parrot's is wire mesh. 3 of my walls are glass. 1 of them is cracked, and a small piece, about the size of my hand, is missing from its bottom corner. I made the hole with a baseball bat Mac gave me for my 6th birthday. After that, he took the bat away, but he let me keep the baseball that came with it. A jungle scene is painted on one of my domain walls. It has a waterfall without water and flowers, without scent, and trees without roots. I didn't paint it, but I enjoy the way the shapes flow across my wall, even if it isn't much of a jungle. I am lucky my domain has 3 windowed walls. I can see the whole mall and a bit of the world beyond. The frantic pinball machines, the pink billows of cotton candy, the vast and treeless parking lot. Beyond the lot is a freeway where cars stampede without end. A giant sign at its edge beckons them to stop and rest like gazelles at a watering hole. So is Ivan kind of painting a picture for you about what his home looks like? Because I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm kind of seeing his home, and I'm picturing that in my mind. The sign is faded, the color's bleeding, but I know what it means. Mac read its words out loud one day. Come to the Exit8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan, Mighty Silverback. Sadly, I cannot read, although I wish I could. Reading stories can make a fine way to fill my empty hours. Once, however, I was able to enjoy a book left in my domain by one of my keepers. It tasted like termite. The freeway billboard has a drawing of Mac in his clown clothes and Stella on her hind legs, and an angry animal with fierce eyes and unkept hair. That animal is supposed to be me, but the artist made a mistake. I'm never angry. See, there's a picture right there. So Ivan's kind of sounding like he's a pretty nice guy, right? Or he's a pretty nice gorilla. But the artist that did the billboard, he didn't portray him that way, did he? So we have a little bit left of one page. And then I will stop for this one, and you can listen to it, and then I'll do another one on another day. Anger is precious. A silverback uses anger to maintain order and warn his troop of danger. When my father beat his chest, it was to say, "Beware! Listen, I am in charge. I am angry to protect you because this is what I was born to do. Here in my domain, there is no one to protect." So, the next part we're going to read is The Littlest Big Top on Earth. I hope you have enjoyed this. I've got a couple chapter books and a couple of activities for you guys to do. And Mrs. Myers and I are super excited to get started with everybody on these read alouds. So I will see you soon, and I miss you. Love you. Bye, guys.